Hello, everyone, and welcome to the September Glimesh.tv board meeting. Um, Welcome, everyone, in. If this is your first board meeting, welcome. I'm glad you're here. What we do in this meeting is we actually talk about kind of the company as a whole. We talk about the past month. We cover metrics like social media metrics, financials, viewer counts, all that kind of stuff. And then we talk about kind of our next steps and then what our teams are working on. If you are joining us in chat or in Discord, as a reminder, your text and or voice, if you choose to broadcast it, will be saved and uploaded to YouTube. So if you don't consent to that, please don't talk. For everyone else, welcome in. We're gonna get started here. The way this works is I've got it up on the screen. I'm gonna not read it word for word because I don't want to bore you with that, but I'm going to kind of use it to kind of navigate the points. And then these minutes will actually be uploaded to the blog. So you can read them after the fact, or you can reference anything you want to reference. So we just finished August. And August was kind of a crazy month, at least for me personally. I know it was also one of the first months since launch that we saw growth on the platform, both from a social media perspective and from a viewer count, streamer count perspective. We saw growth. Now we're not, above the growth we were in, when we launched, but we are larger than we were the month before. So that's definitely a good thing. There's been a lot of kind of ongoing chaos with, Twitch and other streaming platforms, and people are kind of giving us a second look. We're still getting all the kind of same feedback though. We need a little bit more stable features. We need a couple more features added. They kind of want to wait until we're out of alpha. So while we're on more people's radar, that we're hearing the same kind of concerns from, the community at large. But I know that we're going to keep working on this. We're going to keep building it. And then when it is ready for more people, they'll feel more comfortable using it. In the meantime, we try and continue to promote the message of like, hey, we're in alpha, but it's really not that bad. Like you can use Glimesh, you can stream, you can make money off of it, you can build your community, you can have basically a lot of things that you're used to on streaming sites. And they're not really broken. It's not like a buggy mess anymore. We definitely fixed it. So even though it's alpha, it's more in a state of a stable alpha at this point. We just have a smaller subset of features. But moving along, August was actually a unique month as well because it was the first month where I was not actually working full time on Glimesh. We started this adventure. I started this adventure full time about a year ago, and Glimesh is not at a point where it's paying people, and so I've just been living off of savings and it's at a point for me where I can't necessarily continue to exist without taking on work that can pay me to do it. So I've been spending a lot of August, working on some different projects and working with people to make some money, so I can continue to exist. So I can continue to work on Glimesh. So I don't want that to worry anyone. Development work has definitely slowed down. That's very clear, but we're still making progress. We did get a huge OAuth migration out last month, which was a big blocker to kind of everything we wanted to do. We have been getting features out, and our community more and more is pushing out new contributions and features. And so for me, I'm still working on Glimesh at this point, basically nights and weekends. It's just the daytime I kind of have to focus on other work, and then I swap back to it. So it is less, it's less than full-time work, or it's less than full-time attention, but it's I'm still on a call 24/7. I still help fix things immediately when they happen. There's not any lesser amount of support from our end. It's just how many hours of code I can crank out is less. But we still have our priorities, right? Our priorities are to deliver the mobile app and to introduce low latency RTMP to ensure that all of our streamers and viewers have a great experience. And one of the things we're actually doing to make sure we hit those goals, even when I'm less available, is to actually open up a paid contract to allow other people to, um, get paid to work on RTMP. Now, the reason I did that instead of just paying myself is because I'd really like to get, A, more people working on this kind of stuff, but then B, I think it's, RTMP is really going to strive from having someone work on it who's way more comfortable with some of the lower level intricacies than I am. I brought RTMP pretty far. You can actually use it to stream, but it needs some more complicated code. And we've actually already had a candidate apply. I'm going to be talking with them on Monday, and they actually have experience writing the WebRTC implementation for Firefox. So we're going to essentially potentially be having someone who built WebRTC in Firefox help us with RTMP, which I think is nothing but positives. So it's like me, I'm not really that good of a programmer, right? I'm a really good, duct taper. This will actually be someone who can really come in and help. But that's, not to say that position is filled. So if anyone is interested, we are still looking for, applications. It is a contract and kind of hourly rate type contract, not full-time, not part-time, not anything like that. There are a very clear set of requirements that we need to accomplish, and we're willing to pay for it. So, all right. And then to cover off the mobile app as well, the mobile app, one of the largest blockers was our OAuth migration. Our previous OAuth system couldn't handle the authentication that our mobile app needed. So we did get that finished as far as development goes and deployed last month. It's caused some issues with our third-party devs, but we've been kind of resolving them as we go. There's still a couple more things to figure out, but it's at least deployed at this point. So now that the mobile app actually works, I think one of our community members actually downloaded the repo and got the mobile app running against the live Glimesh TV site. So the app is definitely shaping up at this point. We've got a couple of bugs to fix, a couple of features to add, and then we can start some internal testing. It's definitely behind where we expected it to be, or where I expected it to be, but that's majorly because my time is less available at the moment. All right. Another really important topic that came up last month, but hopefully we never forget, is that safety is very, very important. And when we started Glimesh, a year ago, we started it because of the mixer shutdown. And for me, from my perspective, how that worked is there were creators who relied on Mixer to provide them income, right? To have a community, to provide them income, to provide them, a job, a hobby, whatever it is. They relied on Mixer. And, when it shut down, it was kind of like pulling the rug off of someone. And for me, that's like, your income is at risk. And so from the very beginning, Glimesh was focused on making sure that we don't repeat those same kind of mistakes, that we're, the safety of you, yourself, your income, those things are all paramount. And we need to make sure we're building a better platform. And, we went into, our terms of service and our rules of conduct with that kind of perspective. Let's figure out how to make this specific enough to help resolve ambiguity, but also not so specific that, we're just shooting ourselves in the foot. And from day one, or at least very shortly on, we had the Glimesh community team, which has acted as a conduit of our community. So we've always put safety first. We've put, your privacy, your safety first. And we've got some features in place to help with, controlling your own channel, with making sure that only people who you want to be talking can talk. But we saw, with other platforms that, attackers are finding new ways of hurting streamers. And so we're continuing to invest, our thoughts, our time, our code into helping, these harassment and violence events that we've seen, and hopefully making your channel, and not having to worry about people ruining your day. So That's something that's still top of mind. We want to make sure that that's something that we're focusing on. We've got some proposals on the Building Glimesh site that can kind of help address a global, Glimesh scale safety net, if you will. But that's going to require just uh, constant focus, constant effort, and constant conversations with our community and with other communities, right? People who don't necessarily want to use Glimesh, but have really valuable insight on how we can engineer our platform. All right, and then on kind of on the less technical end, on the people side of things, one of our priorities for August was to actually really evaluate our GCT processes. GCT stands for Glimesh Community Team. So to review those processes, the practices that they have, and the day-to-day operations. One of the things that we heard from in the last month and the month before that as well was that there have been stresses and pains within our GCT around kind of the day-to-day operations and some of our processes. So I put together an anonymous survey and sent it out to all of our current GCT members to collect, as honest and as true feedback as we possibly could to help get that raw information and turn it into something that we can actually make actionable. So we sent out that survey, and then Christoph helped me, kind of an independent third party, helped curate that information, summarize it so it wouldn't be personally identifiable. And then we brought that back to the team to talk about, we want to say like, hey, here's the pains, here's the challenges. But then to B, actually start to strategize on what improvements can look like. So some of the positive feedback we got was that the GCT really feels like a team. They feel like when they're working together, it's a very strong synergy between all of them, that it really is a team, and that they had really good tools like Discord, like our GCT admin interface and all that kind of stuff to actually help manage the day-to-day that they do. Now, on the flip side, there was feedback around wanting to see more of a focus on holding other members of the GCT accountable. Some of the common concerns were, some of the GCT members just aren't around, yet they represent Glimesh. And, I'm here, I'm working every day, but, there's essentially no difference between us. So we want to make sure that, people are continuing to be active on the GCT, that, if you are volunteering for a role like that, you either, make time for it, or if you don't have time, maybe you take a break from it and come back later. So that's something we want to work on as well. Some other concerns that were brought up was, starting to decentralize and be more inclusive, both from like a conversation perspective, but also from like a time zone perspective of the decisions that the GCT makes. We were finding that our decisions sometimes were being made by one person or two people or a small subset of people, and not really given to the whole team to collaborate on. And in the same vein, we were doing it at times where others were not available, and then kind of rushing through the decision so that by the time other people woke up, they weren't even given input. So we're also putting in some conversational tools there to make that decision-making process take a little bit longer, but give more time for everyone to give their input on how they think we should proceed, and then we'll kind of collectively figure out the right approach to it. So I'm excited for that. One of the things that we're going to continue to do is, starting now, is to actually get recurring feedback from the GCT about how they feel things are going, right? It's important to ask our users how they think things are going, but it's also important to ask ourselves how they think it's going. And then hopefully we can continue to make, improvements there. Kind of on a final note, we in the past couple of weeks, every time people find out about Glimesh, it's kind of like a beautiful spark, like it sounds silly, but the first time people hear that there's a like community-made platform that is truly transparent, that gives creators, the fair end of the bargain, people really light up about it, right? They get very excited that exists. And we have brand new people pop in all the time that like, wait, what? Your financials are open? They just don't get it. And I'm glad that we can be that source of like a better way of doing things. And so I really just want to thank everyone for continuing to help us provide that, helping to, pay for the servers, helping to support your favorite streamer, for linking to Glimesh when you tweet, to liking our posts, to retweeting, everything you do that like helps spread the word or helps support it. It's really meaningful. And I know that you can't always, there's no obligation to financially support us. If you don't have the money or you don't want to spend the money, that's not a problem at all. The For me, the value of telling someone about Glimesh is just as well. That's if not more amazing that you helped convert someone to see Glimesh and see it exists. So it's not about the money, but if you do give money to Glimesh directly, or if you do subscribe to a streamer, thank you for doing that. That definitely helps us continue to run. You'll see down below in the financials that we're still doing perfectly okay. Again, we can't pay people salaries necessarily. We could pay some contracts out, but we'll continue to kind of run the service, make sure it exists, and then continue to build it and grow it. All right, and that is my summary here. And then I actually saw a chat message that I wanted to mention. We'll actually be doing a questions and answers at the very end of the stream. So if you have questions that are not related to like what we're talking about, just hold on to them, ask them at the end, and we'll help you out with anything you may have a question on. All right, now to cover metrics. So like I said, we definitely had a bump of new users, both on social media and also on the website in the past month. This is mostly due to the increasing intolerance of Twitch's business practices. And, streamers continue to find new sources to kind of grow their content, new streaming sites to follow, and Glimesh was kind of in some of that bubble, and so we did get a bunch of new followers on Twitter, a bunch of new people on Discord, and a bunch of new streamers and viewers on the site as well. Now, we have to kind of maintain that momentum. We got to continue to grow the platform. I still think that our balance right now is to make sure that we are continuing to advertise the platform so we don't lose traction. But at the same time, we have to understand that our marketing campaigns aren't as effective as they could be, since there are problems with streaming, there are problems with some ongoing bugs. And I think once we launch that mobile app and RTMP, we're going to be in a really good place to like crank out real paid advertisements, real community-based advertisements, all things that we can do, email campaigns. Those are all really strong motivators. We've got almost 40,000 people that are subscribed to our newsletter, and we haven't even emailed them. The last time we emailed them was launch. So we haven't even turned on the faucet of marketing really, and that's not because we don't want to help your stream grow, right? Like we want to help make sure that you have a fantastic experience on Glimesh, but every time we send out a marketing campaign that doesn't connect with users because you can't load a stream, or you can't stream yourself, or you have some problem, well, that campaign is wasted, because that user then gets a little bit, more negative of an idea of Glimesh. So we want to make sure that things are good before we do that. Not perfect, right? We'll never get to perfect, but they're good. It's what you'd expect from a streaming site, and then we'll continue to send those kinds of stuff out. So here's the stats you can look at over here. They're kind of broken down by color. Oh, you can't see my cursor. Damn it. Nope, I can't do it. But you'll see in this chart right here. It's kind of color coordinated. And then I talked about that. And then this is, you can't see anything. All right. And then this is our we have a peak here at the very end. I can't unfortunately show you. But if you look at the very far end on the right-hand side of the chart, you'll see 8, which is the month of August. And you'll see that kind of bump we have in viewers and streamers down at the bottom. And then here are the raw numbers directly. Interestingly enough, unique visitors only went up by a little bit. But if you think about it, we were dropping consistently every month on unique viewers. So not only did we have to rebound from that drop that we were going to have of unique visitors, but we also had to kind of go up and above that. So more people viewed, way more. Let's say, for example, that we were going to be at 20,000 unique visitors if we hadn't had a bump. Well, we have essentially had, a 10,000, or sorry, a 5,800 unique visitor bump in the last month. And then on page views, that definitely, went way higher than July. All right, now we're going to cover some finances. So if you're not familiar with the way we do our finances, we essentially split them up into two categories. We've got software as a service and physical sales. Software as a service is kind of like recurring costs or fees, and physical sales are generally kind of one-time, like merch. And then we break these down into different categories that way you can see exactly how it goes. And then the bolds are generally the sum of the above. In August, we did donate a considerable amount to charity to kind of help some of the underserved communities that exist, and also because we wanted to kind of celebrate the switch of our logo back to the regular Glimesh logo. So you can check this out. I won't read every line on here. I'll point out things that are worth pointing out. We did drop $1,000 in gross subscriptions in the last month. Payouts as well dropped. Merch sales were down as well, but we did just launch a brand new set of merch that we're going to talk about here in a minute. So I expect that number to increase ever so slightly. Our server costs are virtually the same, as well as, we don't have any bandwidth overages right now. We're able to consolidate it entirely in the cost of the server. And then DigitalOcean gave us 34 cents of credit for some outages they had. And then right here, our recurring services, they're higher than I want it to be. Right now, we have a product called App Signal that we're running that costs about $200 a month. This is officially the last month, August was officially the last month. So in September, this recurring service will be $200 cheaper. There were no one-time services costs for August, no domain renewals, and then we donated $629.55 to charities. So that puts our total income at $4,000.88. Our total expenses at $4,384. So we were in the red for $296. Not a big deal. I'm not concerned about that. What I'm more concerned about is the dropping subscription rate, right? This is going to keep going down until we can start getting more people subscribing on the platform. For me, being in the red this month was caused by the fact that we gave the charity, of which I have no regrets doing that, because our bank balance is still $20,000. We still have runway. The service can still pay for itself even if we start going into the red for quite a couple of months. So I'm not too worried about the red there for the total profit. That's just something that we were aware of the actions that we did. Yeah, psychotic. I don't think that we saw any. We can look at the numbers in Stripe, but I don't think we saw any major uptick in subscriptions from the traffic that we got. I'm also not convinced that the traffic that we got is sticking around at the scale that you would hope it would. Now, we do have a bunch of new streamers, a bunch of new regulars that are around the platform, but we need to kind of keep them engaged, keep them on the platform. There's also questions we need to ask ourselves about, does the support button, cause confusion, right? Do less people subscribe because they don't know what support means? There's a couple of questions we need to ask there. We could do some testing, but yeah, there are a lot of challenges to successfully switching to Glimesh. So I think that's kind of some of the roadblocks for subs. I also think one of the things we should start looking into seriously. And there's two reasons for this. I think we should start looking at exactly how far we can push that subcut onto the streamer side, because I do think that there would be true advertising value. Like, A, there's the value in actually giving the streamers a larger cut of subs, but B, there's a value in being able to use that as a marketing pitch to say, hey, we do truly give you more on Glimesh. So, we're not at a point where we can do that right now, right? Because our subscriptions are dropping. But, if we have to operate in the red for a very small amount of time to get double the amount of subscriptions, like that could easily, easily pay for itself. All right, I'm going to move on to the team reports now, and then we'll kind of cover some more of this conversation at the end here. All right, so team reports are now aggregate summaries of the work that we're doing on the Building Glimesh forum. If you haven't seen it, I would definitely check it out. It's build.glimesh.tv. You can check it out. Can't show you too much because I have a secret area, but the build.glimesh.tv site is kind of where we do our work now. We removed it from Discord. We made the conversations take longer, but in reality, I think it's helping us become more focused and a little less, a little more patient with each other on the Building Glimesh site. So if you want your work covered, make sure you document it there. If it's not documented there, I'll likely miss it, and I apologize. If I did miss anything that you did, please make sure you mention it in chat. I also am not mentioning anything that happened specifically in like the end of September here or the beginning of September here. So if I missed anything there, sorry as well. But like I said, we rolled out OAuth successfully. There's still some change management issues with some of our devs, but we're working through them. I think we're making progress on it for sure. We also have that paid contract opportunity. So if you're interested in that, make sure you check that out. This will be available. I'll link it. But basically, we're willing to pay you to help work on some Golang code to help us ingest RTMP. And then we actually now have a brand new contributor as far as the dev world goes. Barry's contributed a pronouns preferences pull request, which came out of nowhere. I think Barry went from 0 programming to 100% programming in the span of a day. So now she's implemented pronouns for streamers, for chatters, and actually giving you the settings to control that. So I'm super glad about that. I'm going to review this soon and hopefully get it merged in and deployed. But it just goes to show you that even if you think you're not technical, or even if you've never programmed before, if you set your mind to it, anyone can do it. It's not complicated. It's just learning something new. So thanks to Barry for that. And then on the right, and yeah, we're all willing to help. We've got at least 2 people who know Elixir who can help. And it's, we're always looking for more people to help out and build the project. All right, and then on the design perspective, we are working in addition to figuring out exactly how to display the pronouns like in chat, trying to make them fit without making too much noise and clutter. It's kind of a balance. And so we're working on some proposals there. And then we did officially launch 10 new Glimdrop shirts. So if you haven't checked that out yet, I don't think we've even tweeted about it too much, but we've got 10 brand new shirts here that we're selling. As a reminder, we're not selling shirts to rake in the cash. We've priced them above, vendor price. That way we can continue to sell them. But we've basically sold them all for a flat price. And then it's $5 shipping to anywhere in the world. So no matter where you live, no matter what size shirt you buy, you'll pay the same exact price. That's something very important to us. And so we hope you like them. We did, these shirts are basically like screen printed or print on demanded. So we were worried initially about, having a giant image on the front, But Paco has been wearing his for almost a month now. I'm understanding that he's been wearing them in just truly disgusting scenarios, and they're holding up fine. So, um, hopefully they'll work out good for you. If you have any problems with the shirts, make sure you email us. We absolutely will refund it, fix it, whatever we need to do. We want to make sure you are proud of what you're wearing. We definitely want to look into more merch in the future, but again, it's a balance, right? We don't want to overload you. We just wanted some cool stuff that you could look at, and there are definitely sizes missing. Um, we only sell shirts that we've officially tested, and this one is like a gilded, not gilded, but like the t-shirt brand Gilded. Uh,
Gildan.
Gildan, sorry, thank you. We tested these to actually be comfortable, to be rugged. I actually welded in mine, I think, and it worked just fine. So we don't want to introduce a new size if it's not available in the test that we've done until we actually start testing it. So, all right, moving on. So those are available, glim.shop. And then from a community team side, Paco, do you want to talk about the GC Talks? How do you say it? GC Talks?
GC Talks. Yeah. There's been an idea that a lot of you have probably heard us talking about, kicking around for a while, that we wanted the GCT to coordinate and put on basically a web show, just like a live chat show where now that the board meetings are a monthly affair as opposed to every week, it would be kind of, two episodes of a GCT show in between um, each board meeting to kind of cover the ground and give any updates, information. It's also a place where we can connect with the community. They can get to know us and give out information and teach people and all sorts of good stuff. Um, so when we found out that we were going to be postponing the board meeting this week, we decided to just go ahead and go crazy and see if we could put the show together. So with less than 12 hours, we managed to put a show together, and it went fairly well for something that we just threw all together at once. The team really came together and worked on it phenomenally. Like we had overlays and nameplates and all sorts of great stuff that was not in existence when we woke up that morning. Um, so everybody pulled together and did a really good job. I know for myself personally, I had a really good time. I always enjoy getting to talk to the community, and when we can reach people on a larger scale, it really helps us maybe get to know members that we don't necessarily get the opportunity to meet because they stream at a time that we aren't around, things like that. And it helps people come in and get to know us. They can get answers if they just happen to be on the site. And it's a really good time all around. We are going to start doing that every 2 weeks. We will be doing one on Tuesday the 14th, and then every 2 weeks from then on.
All right, cool. And then one of the other things that the GCT is also working on is implementing a new policy for username reclamation. So being able to actually, like, if someone has a username that you want, or if they sniped it a long time ago, but they're not using it, we're now working on a very clear policy on when you would potentially be able to get that username for yourself. It is a pretty in-depth process. We're not trying to take people's username who are active on the platform. Um, we do several things. Like we email you first. We make sure that account hasn't been used or logged into for several months. We've got several like if-then statements. But it at least gives you an opportunity to, get an active username, especially when people registered them just for the heck of it and not with an intention of using it. We want all of our usernames on the site to be real active users. We want to help promote the users who want those. And then the other thing that they're working on is building another process that kind of more clearly defines our emote guidelines, especially on a global scale, and then removing emotes that no longer represent our ideals. There's times when an emote is uploaded with good intentions, but it does bring baggage that we don't think that is right for our community. And so, we'll remove it. There's also emotes that we add initially that then become not appropriate anymore. And we need to, have the introspective sight to know when to remove it when it's no longer right for our brand. So we're working on those things as well. I'm excited for both of those things. Um, what exactly is a mic dip? Miss Pixels made me do it. I don't know what. I don't normally edit my audio settings, so. All right, and then on the marketing side, we started to recycle some of our earlier campaigns just to make sure that people continue to learn about us, even if they're hearing about us for the first time. That's going pretty well. We're getting definitely lots of traction there. We also have posted tweets that kind of give you a quick rundown of our features and how they work. Those are going really well as well. And then I've also been testing Twitter campaigns. So we did Facebook advertising a month ago where we spent like $300 on advertising and just saw how it went, right? Because we need to learn how advertising works on that platform, how the media shows up, what kind of return do we get on it, and we need to do the same thing for Twitter. So I thought now was a good time to do that. We ran a campaign that was focused around getting new followers. We marketed it specifically to a specific demographic of both. I think it was 18 to 34 audiences, and then of all of the different genders. Nothing specific there, but we focused it on streamers as much as we could, the demographic of streamer. And the campaign was focused around getting new followers. And it cost us $207 overall. We got 141,000 impressions on the actual tweet, which was good. Definitely some engagements as well. And then 36 new followers. So it wasn't worth it from a followers perspective. That ends up working out to about $5 a follower. Which, I mean, you can just buy for way cheaper. But from an impressions perspective, that impressions is pretty high. So we'll definitely see like different tweets are going to work in different ways for engagement, for follows, for that kind of stuff. But it's important to have like a baseline to understand how well Twitter ads do in the first place. One of the things that we're learning from both platforms, and I think this is already inherent knowledge, is that users don't see ads on desktop. Every desktop user has ad block enabled, or at least a good chunk of them. Where ads are truly seen the most in almost every situation is on mobile. And so really the important thing there is going to be that when we're advertising to mobile users, they need to be able to watch on mobile and not have a weird experience. So having the mobile app, having things kind of settled out is going to be a lot more important. We targeted streamers very specifically because right now our message isn't strong. Like the message that we tweeted wasn't strong towards viewers. It was the tweet about how our payment system works, how the different features work. And we wanted kind of to take the momentum that Twitch was having and kind of inject our ad in there and see if it had any kind of return. But I definitely agree. We have to advertise towards viewers. That's one of the things we want to do with different streamers is work with them to advertise their content, their funny clips or their engaging content to actually, use the streamer's content to find viewers that want to watch that stream and other streams like it. That's going to be way more powerful on the viewer side. So we definitely want to do that. All right, and then the last thing here is our events team did promote a 12-hour charity stream hosted by the Bus Ride. It supported the Extra Life charity. It happened on August 21st, and I think Eric just said he raised something like $3,000, something like that, 2,000 or more for charity from that event. So that's awesome. I'm glad that Glimesh could help be a part of that. And if you are hosting an event or a charity stream or whatever it is, make sure you let us know about it because we want to help you promote it. We want to help you share it to our audience. Let me get that link for you real quick. Actually, Paco will post a link in chat. We have a little form. You just tell us about your event, and then if it kind of meshes with us, we help you by tweeting it, by sharing it as much as we can. Yep, there you go. That's the form you want to use. Yep. You can also, if you can't figure out the form or you need some help, you can always email support@glimesh.tv and they can help you get to the right place.
I'd also like to point out that I'm really excited right now because we currently have 6 events in the pipeline as of right now.
Yeah. Alrighty, that's awesome. The events are such a good thing because, from a business perspective, by us helping promote your content, we are like telling more people that, hey, people are using Glimesh, and we can also use those events to, really actually advertise. Um, but from your perspective, right, we help bring more viewers to your stream, more, donators to your charity, whatever it is. I think it's kind of like a win-win for everyone. So. All right. And then just some formalities. We have no previous business, no new business to attend to. I forgot to mention at the beginning, but the meeting was called to order at about 6:05 p.m. Eastern time. And I'm going to go ahead and wrap the board meeting up now, and we're going to stick around for any kind of questions you may have. I'll be around for at least 15 minutes here, so just hang tight. We're going to end the recording, but we're going to keep streaming. So thank you all for showing up. This meeting adjourned at 6:45. Thank you. Bye-bye.